my Honda. I don't know that I'm very good to it, but I do love it. It's my third one.
You feel guilty about how you treat your car?
I feel guilty when I go through a car wash because I think it's not healthy for the car.
So you ever think about the image you project with your car?
Yeah, I guess it's probably an extension of me. I'd rather be in a Mercedes, but my salary doesn't support that.
Why a Mercedes?
Oh, I like the little emblem on the front, on the hood. Status.
This is a working class car. Durable, efficient, not too fancy, not pretentious. Basic transportation. I'm the kind of guy who's comfortable carrying a lunch bucket, and even if I could afford a BMW or a Volvo, I wouldn't ride in one because I think it would be pretentious.
I don't fit the Cadillac image yet. When you drive a Cadillac, it's a totally different statement of settled, possibly achievement, wealth, accomplishment. See, I'd owned a Cadillac when I was 28 years old. I was too young for a Cadillac. I was very uncomfortable. But the quality I'll always remember.
If you can actually afford to buy 2 new Cadillacs, then you can afford this automobile. Prior to purchasing this automobile, we looked at everything from Jags to Ferraris, Maserati, Lamborghini, some of them more expensive, some of them less. I've been searching for cars for years, for that special automobile. Each individual is unique, and I just wanted to be different. Most people give you respect when they see something like this coming at them. They'll give you a wide berth.
I get a lot of attention with this car. That's basically why I got it. I like attention. This car draws a lot of attention. It's popular with the ladies, too.
You ever attract any women with this car?
No, this car repels women. But I always try to get myself attached to a woman who has a nice car so that whenever she wants to go someplace and look nice and be in style and so forth, you know, we can do it.
It's freedom, and I've been kind of unsure where I'm going and what I'm doing for a while, and this is always the one thing that's with me, and the dog. You can talk and chat and feel, and everything is easier and it's fun, as opposed to the lifestyle of a Mercedes, where I can change my clothes and jump in it, and I'm a yuppie and I'm all business and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. So
well,
I need the both of them for balance. And to keep me...
Let's go take a look at that Mercedes.
All right. Come on, buddy.
This car, the only thing I ever listen to is the mastery, things like the mastery of the game of selling, which is what we got here. Which is a wonderful tape. It's a very convincing, how to be a natural salesman without memorizing lines. The other car, all it has in it are tapes like The Doors and all this hippie music, lots of, and they're just kind of thrown around.
You think a car like this helps you to sell people?
Definitely. I mean, it makes all the difference in the world. People just, they're impressed. So yeah, if I would pull up to take somebody out to show real estate in the Volkswagen van, forget it.
And so you've got a little bunny. You seem to have some kind of a little bunny there under your tape machine.
That is Sam Bunny. Sam Bunny is there, named after my son Sam, to make sure that, or to encourage me to stop smoking. Sam does not want me to smoke, so this is what happens. He can tell if I'm smoking. He comes in and there is the ashtray open and Sam Bunny is crushed.
What is it about this car that you like?
Because it's
old-fashioned. It's big, it's fat, it's ugly. It's mean looking. Nobody can boss you around when you're driving. It's made out of steel. And that's why it's so hot.
I don't look at cars as, a status symbol. To me, they're functional, and either they serve the purpose or they don't. And I've always either looked at it for mode of transportation, and I've always wanted one of these. So to me, this is perfect. It's a mode of transportation plus it's my house, so it works out great. I get bored real easy, so if I'm tired of where I'm living, I just pick up and move somewhere else.
Do you actually then use this for transportation?
Oh yeah, I go to work every day and park right outside work, and when I have a break from work, I come out here and I can practice or read a book or whatever, go back to work or go to rehearsal or whatever. It's portable living. This is where I'm at right now. It's where I wanted to be a long time. I'm 30 years old, and I finally got what I wanted for years.
So how long have you owned this car?
Since 46, March 46.
Why'd you buy it?
It's the only thing I could get. At that time, cars were scarce, right after World War II.
What'd you have to pay for it?
$325. There's a salesman in Charlotte, North Carolina, drove it during the war, and it had 107,000 on it when I got it, and the engine was rattling and smoking. I had to put an engine in it the first thing before I started driving it.
So how many miles has the car got on it now?
It's got 332,000 on the body. This engine I'm running now has got a little over 118,000 on it.
First car I bought, I was 15 years old, and I saved my money carrying papers to buy a 51 model Mercury. I wasn't old enough to drive it yet, and I let it sit in the backyard for several months till I got my driver's license, but it was the most exciting thing that ever happened to me. I started collecting seriously about 12 years ago. Built this first building about 12 years ago, and didn't really think of it as a collection at that time, and kind of resented other people speaking of it as a collection, because really it was just a few cars that I really enjoyed and things that meant a lot to me. And these cars deserve restoring. They're cars that should be preserved. They're part of history, and they should be preserved for future generations. They'll always remember the fun they had in their first car, and they'll always remember the first girl that they dated in their car, and all these are things that make it part of an interesting hobby of just reminiscing about what we used to have and what we used to do.
My first car was a 55 Chevrolet, and a tree ran out in front of it.
I had a Pontiac at one time, and I'd souped up the engine and beefed it up pretty good. I used to try to outrun the law a little bit. I thought that was pretty super back when I was young and stupid, I guess.
How do other people react to you being a racing driver?
The insurance people don't like it, but it's hard to get insurance, but you have to lie a little bit. But everybody else, my mother don't like it too good, but my dad backs me everywhere I go. Got plenty of help on a race car and all.
What's the fastest you ever been in a car?
About 180 mile an hour.
Can you describe how that feels?
Scary, very scary. And it was on the highway. It wasn't on the track, it was on the highway. But it's something you won't forget. And I was drinking at the time, and I was sober after that. And that was when they first come out with these Roadrunners and GTXs back in '66. And they'd run every bit of that, going 160 and 180 mile an hour. The car just floating. And lines on the road, when that song says it's one solid, that's what they mean. It's solid.
How would you describe the feeling of going 140 in a car?
More like floating on water.
Have you ever been into fast cars?
Fast cars?
Yeah.
Not over 120 mile an hour is fast I've ever been in a car.
What kind of car was that?
It was a Chrysler, straight 8 New Yorker.
And it was your own personal car?
No, No, it was one we had on the used car lot there where I worked.
You ever had a car that you thought was artistically pleasing?
No, but I had a boyfriend who had a car that was artistically pleasing. It was a pink 1957 Chevy. The only thing bad about it was the upholstery was coming apart, and anytime you wanted to mess around in the back seat, you always ripped your hose all to hell.
A woman will respond to nurturing and love and care and devotion. A car will also. And just like a woman is, a certain relationship with a woman, it's cozy, it's intimate. You have the same kind of relationship with the car when you get in there and close the doors, warm it up, It's almost, in some sense, it's almost a sensual relationship. And even though, usually women traditionally have been appreciated for their beauty, as the years go by, that begins to fade, but the same woman is still there. The same thing with the car, even though it's got a few dents, a few scratches, a few rough spots, to me, it's still a beautiful car.
I'm not a classy type of guy, because, you're going to pull a babe, you're going to pull one either way I want. You ain't got to be a good-looking to go out there and get a babe, and you got a bad ride, you know what I'm saying? You go out there and get a babe with a Volkswagen, something like that. But what I'm saying is, it's like you get yourself situated and you zoom in on what you want, and you can throw down.
And it doesn't matter what kind of car you got, is that what you're saying?
No, it don't matter what kind of car you got, no.
Well, people spend an awful lot of time and money on their cars, then, if they're not that important.
They fools. They fools. I mean, all you gotta have is a wrap. You got that wrap, and you don't need a car. You can walk. I'm serious, I can walk, man. Shit, I walk down the street. Yo, baby, hey, no problem. You can walk and pull something just as better than you can with a ride. I'm serious. That's honest to God, too. Because women go for a man that got it up here, not the man that got it right here. You can drive. He can drive. Anybody can drive. But as long as you got it up here, hey, you can do anything you want to.
My understanding about the crookedest business is, as a car dealer, the government has to make them make mileage statements, have to make them put guaranteed or not guaranteed in the window and tell what they're going to do if they do and all that.
Well, is that unfair, you think? That
it's not unfair, it's just, well, a lot of the people, the public, I don't think are a whole lot better than the car dealers.
What do you mean?
Well, they would do things, too, that wouldn't be right. Just like one this morning, I had one wanting me to put a car in his sister's name because he had too many points to get insurance cheaper, and I wouldn't sell it to him because I didn't want to be a part of it. Things like that. Now, years ago, I would have done that, and I think most any other car dealer would do that, but I live above sin.
I think a very, very high percentage of the used car dealers that I know are reputable people and will advise prospective clients as best they can. But I think a lot of people even go against what they might be advised to do based on something because it's pretty. I have people that constantly call on me and and I have actually had people to want to buy a car that I don't even want to sell them.
Well, this is the way I usually open my car. It's hard for me to get it in. I don't usually lock it because the lock won't work. This is an old car, so when I put the key into it this way, some people might think I'm trying to break into the car, but I'm not. So since this doesn't work, I usually walk around on the other side, and I get into it this way. And from time to time, this one might not work, but it worked this time. This car is a real good car. It's got 156,000 miles on it. When I bought it, it had 99,000 miles on it. So I was kind of skeptical in the beginning, but I said, what the heck? It only costs $2,000, so why don't you go ahead and invest in a nice Toyota, because they told me the Japanese make good cars. So therefore, I bought this Toyota Tercel. And the very first day after I left the parking lot, heard this rattling noise inside of the tire. And I took it back to the dealership. It was one of those deals where it said, you know, you have a check mark up here saying that they'll give you warranty and no warranty. And I had one of those no warranty deals. And come to find out, I had a major problem under my tire, and I had to get it repaired. It was like $500. So that was a big joke for everybody in my community, because they said I bought a lemon.
You can call an automobile a lemon if you want to, but really anything that's wrong with a car can be fixed if the right people get a hold of it.
The catalytic converter stopped up on this car and burned it. The man parked it in his driveway, and he walked back out, and it was on fire. It burned it to the ground. But
so would you say that was the fault of the manufacturer?
I would say it was the fault of the owner, because the manufacturer says change his catalytic converter after recommended miles. I'm not sure what the mileage is, but they recommend it being changed, and it's just one of those things insurance companies cry about.
Is it hard to find people that know how to work on cars?
It's hard to find people that stay with you that wants to get looking like this.
Let's see those hands.
There you go, see?
That's what working on cars is all about, huh?
You're gonna get greasy, you're gonna get nasty, but it's the only thing I know how to do.
Well, what is it about cars? Is it cars that you like, or is it driving that you like?
Well, it's that grease in my blood is what it is. You get grease in your blood, and you can't get away from it.
Every now and then it'll pop out. I really don't know exactly where they go to. When I bought the car, it was there. So I assume it's attached to the radio and air conditioning. Well, I don't have any air conditioning. I used to have air conditioning. I had air conditioning for about, I guess, 3 or 4 months. Then it just died on me, and I didn't get that replaced. I used to have cruise control. Cruise control just went out on me, and I didn't bother to fix that. I used my tape recorder used to work, but it doesn't work anymore. My radio is still working. I pick up WPEG in Charlotte. It's the brother station, one of the best stations around here. And my heat, it'll work sometimes in the wintertime. Just depends on how cold it is outside. If it's too cold outside, she probably won't work.
See, if you're good to a car will be good to you. I usually take good care of the car. You can see my car is not like Harry's. It's clean. I've got good rubber on it. I've got good suspension. I keep the oil changed every 3,000 miles. I keep it tuned up, so I'm nice to the car. The car's nice to me.
I cannot afford a BMW. You know what BMW stands for, don't you? The black man's wish. But I can't afford that. Some of my friends have BMWs. This is my special BMW here, this little white, nice Toyota.
I keep coveting a Saab, one of those Saab cars. A lot of times I do a lot of traveling, and I'm going up the interstate. I may be doing 65 miles an hour. and sobs just fly by me.
I told my wife a number of years ago, I said, these Mustang convertibles are going to be a collector's item someday, and I'm going to buy one, and I'm not going to sell it unless we're starving. Fortunately, we have not starved yet, and I haven't sold my Mustang yet.
Yes, sir, everybody drives a used car. The day you drive that new one home, it's instantly a used car, and it's worth no more than anybody else's used car. You can pick up a car that somebody else has been willing to take the first or 1 or 2 years depreciation on, and in today's economy, you can save thousands and thousands of dollars. Never has there been a time when the spread between a new car and a used car was as great as it is today. In a good economy, people buy what they want to buy, and they buy the best. Everybody's working steady, they're making good money, and instead of wanting just a standard car, they want something a little fancier. They're wanting more options. They're wanting cruise control, they're wanting the best stereo. Air conditioning and options of this type are just not even mentioned anymore. That's just standard almost.
I bought my first car about a year ago, and I bought that because it had a sunroof.
You bought it because it had a sunroof?
Yeah.
Are you glad you bought it?
I didn't even look at the engine.
It's got all the little amenities, niceties. I can move you up or down, backwards, forwards, lay you down flat, whatever I want to do by pushing buttons.
You would not believe the buttons. Can you get a shot of the buttons? This is totally electric. The only thing I miss on this machine is I don't have a tilt steering wheel, but I've got buttons.
Yep, we love anything that moves or makes noise, shakes or rattles. People comes by and gives you stuff and stop out there at the hardware store and leave things and come by the house. Everybody wants to have something on it, something of theirs on it. I've even had city policemen, state highway patrol give me things to put on it.
What is that animal there in the back toward the windshield?
That's a pregnant goat.
Where'd you get that?
One of the Stanley City policemen gave that to me.
And he gave it to you specifically to put on the car?
Yeah, to put on the car. He came by the hardware store and said, put that on the car.
What does this faucet here on the front of the car, the right side over here do?
Well, most all of them will work. But that's the only one that works by remote control.
You got hot and cold water coming out of there?
Just cold. Of course, it's hot today.
What's that thing that's on top of it that looks like a satellite dish?
Well, radar.
So what are you looking for with that radar?
It's hard to say. Mothership, I guess.
Somewhere on the back there, isn't there a faucet that you can squirt?
Yeah. That's to get the girls at the drive-through windows.
You even got a little, looks like you've got a little soap dish coming off the side there. You ever put any soap on it?
Well, it blows out when you're on the highway.
You've actually tried, huh?
Yeah.
Guess you'd have to glue the soap down, huh?
Bolt it down.
Actually, it looks like the interior of this car has been modified as much or more than the exterior of the car.
Yep, this is the cockpit. I even have running water.
Wait a minute, does it just run out on the floor?
The floorboard's rusted out of it, so it just runs straight through anyway. Doesn't hurt anything.
What all can you control from down on that panel?
Well, to start out with, start the car up. And blow all the horns and all all my water squirters is operated from up here. There's the front, left side, right side, rear, interior, and windshield. And turn the pump on, control each of the individual faucets one at a time, turn the lights on, and I've even got a talking clock.
It's 10:26 p.m.
What's got in the back seat there?
That's a 6,000 BTU window air conditioner.
Will that get the car pretty cool?
Just like a refrigerator. There's one boy that used to ride to work with me, and he told me one night I was crazy. Said that he was embarrassed to ride in it, and I just pulled over on the side of the road and asked him if he wanted to get out. And he didn't want to get out. He would rather ride than walk. I told him that people that didn't have driver's license had to just ride however they wanted to. If he didn't like it, he could get out.
Well, does a car like this help attract women, you reckon?
It has, yeah. Yeah, I'll have to say it has. Might not be the kind you would necessarily like to attract, but...
Thanks a lot, and may you have many more safe miles.
Thank you, Joe, for coming out. And I know she really appreciates it because she doesn't, too many people don't show any appreciation for her that much, but I think she will appreciate this. Thank you.
Give your car a rough time, and it's going to give you a rough time.
I've seen people cry because they had to leave a car behind.
We're going to go to our grave in a car, I'm sure. The exhaust, the greenhouse effect, freeways. Yeah, I wish they had never happened.
You can't be a shade tree mechanic working on one of these cars anymore.